View from the Gutters, Episode 12. Welcome to View from the Gutters, the comic book podcast where each episode we discuss a collected edition, trade paperback, or graphic novel, and then recommend and vote on the book for the next episode. Warning: the discussion portion of this show has massive spoilers for that book. On this episode, we discuss Fear Agent Volume 1, and, to skip ahead to the recommendation section, skip ahead to 5840. Alright, welcome to View from the Gutters, Episode 12. 12. We got a year's worth of episodes under the belt if we were doing this once a month.
That's true.
Which we're not.
Well, so, you don't know that.
Also, I've been editing, and it's really funny, in the first episode, we mentioned that we're going to have a Ultimate Wolverine versus Hulk moment where we go away for like 4 years. We kind of did that. We went away for like
a year.
We
were on hiatus for a while.
We came back. So, yeah, we're just hitting all the things we promised. You know,
that's what we do. Deliver.
Yeah.
We do deliver.
We say stupid shit, and you're like, oh, they're not
going
to do that.
Am I still listening to this?
Yeah, but we're going to do it. So all the shit that I said before.
It's
about editing Joe, who you guys don't know. I've edited him out of every episode.
You want to know me.
Yeah.
You want to know me.
And now this is just silence right now.
It is.
They can't
You
hear
can't
you.
even, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
It's weird.
You're going to be like, where's the funny?
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on.
He's actually going to edit it into my own podcast, which I'm going to call Angry Man Says Response to a Conversation That You Can't Hear.
It's like when you... It's like
and then rants about Jeff Johnson.
It's like when old people yell at the TV. It's just that. Like, you've got headphones on and you're listening to a podcast. In the meantime, you're like, no, fuck you guys. You don't know what you're talking about. And that's a whole episode by itself. It's so good.
It is.
Welcome to episode 1. Fuck you guys. You have no idea what you're talking about. All right. We're Viewing the Gutters. I'm Andrew Chard.
I'm Joe Preti.
Cade Reynolds. Matt McGinnis.
All right. 4. Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four.
B Squad. I should come up with configuration names for all of them.
I am.
Gold team. Brown team.
I want to be blue. Blue team.
Away team.
Away team.
Home team. Was that Claremont era X-Men when they did that?
It was, they did it, yeah. I mean, it was
done it a couple times.
It was right in the middle of Claremont era. It was right when Jim Lee started writing X-Men, and they split, and Starr became leader of the Gold team, and my boy Cyclops became leader of the Blue team.
Represent.
And everybody that just moaned at that, fuck yourself, all right? Seriously.
They have that shitty cartoon we were talking about earlier to blame for that. Because he was a punk bitch in that shit.
Everybody wants to make Cyclops a punk bitch, but he's not. The secret is he's really not. He's, my argument is like, this is a guy that's been leading, that led a team against an Omega level mutant when he was still in his teen years.
Yeah.
Like, he can be a little whiny sometimes, but he also did have sex with Emma Frost in his mind, with Emma Frost looking like his then wife.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
Is that badass or is it weird?
No, it's weird, but it's also
Get married
badass.
and you'll realize that it's badass.
I
All right.
He got to nail the most powerful being in the
just
universe,
about how
and then he
weird
got to nail one of the most powerful telepaths in the universe. Bitches love Cyclops.
God, yeah, that scene when he has sex with Charles Xavier is so good.
Oh, it's
That's what
hot.
you guys are talking about, right?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
That's in the Grease team. X-Men greased up team.
Yeah. Team
Latex team. That was a bootleg.
Yeah.
That wasn't. You had to go
You
to.
guys have to find it.
You had to go to San Diego to get that.
Yeah.
It's the man.
This is Alley, not the Comic Con. An alley in San Diego, and a guy named Hector will sell it to you.
Yeah.
Don't
He's
do
wearing
that.
all green.
I do not endorse. Do not go into alleys in San Diego. Do not. I'm a professional.
Only place to get meth.
It is. No, there's many places to get meth.
That was a blatant
But
lie.
don't do meth either because it's bad.
And awesome.
We are not advocating the use of meth we are not advocating going into alleys in San Diego talking to strange men.
Yes, we are.
For pornography. If you are under the age of 18, we are not advocating. Buy meth and read pornography, especially if it's gay, hardcore pornography.
That's the best kind.
Involving paraplegics.
Yeah, that are telepaths.
Meow, 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 meow.
Shoot like oblong, golden, wavy circles at your head.
It's like, there would not be, you'd always be able to tell when you weren't thinking about him. It'd just be creepy. It'd just be bad.
That's the creepy part. Just that. None of the rest of what we said.
No.
I'm editing all of this out. We're starting over. Welcome to View from the Gutters. I'm Andrew Chard now. Let's talk about our book.
Let's talk about, yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely winning on picks again, by the way.
You're winning on picks.
I'm winning, yeah. I'm winning picks. I have all the
You're
picks.
not going to win this pick.
No, I know I'm not. I brought a fun book this week, so... And they're all fun. I only bring fun books.
Except that one time when you didn't.
Yeah, I have actually brought like a couple where you guys are like, why did you bring that?
I think
So
the bondage
weird.
porn was really bad.
Yeah, that's
we just
look for
edited.
that.
We
That's-
cut that whole episode.
That's our special Christmas
Yeah,
episode.
I mean, when it was...
Bondage Santa. How Santa and sexually enslaved Christmas.
It was greased urethra. Was that the one you
Yeah.
brought? That was awful.
Dicks inside of dicks.
Dicks inside.
Yep.
Dicks and dicks. Dickception.
Yep. All right.
Moving-
Off the
moving
rails
on.
again. Starting over.
Moving on.
View from the Gutters. I'm Andrew Chard. All right. We brought Fear Agent Volume
Reset.
1. Fear Agent Volume 1 this week.
Fear Agent
Reignition.
Yes. Rick Remender, Tony Moore. Two
Yeah.
names you've probably heard if you read.
Who are those guys?
I don't know. I heard Rick Remender did some cool shit on a... It's called like Uncanny X-Force or something.
Unbelievable X guys.
Unbelievable X Guys, I think.
Yeah.
Rick
good.
Remender, who actually wrote the best X-Force that has ever been.
Yeah, he's written some great shit.
I say that
Also,
unequivocally.
illustrated a great Christmas comic.
Did he?
Yeah, written by Brian Posehn.
Nice,
Last
nice.
Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the last Christmas.
that's the last book he illustrated.
Nice.
Great
Nice.
artist
Which is-
too.
Fantastic. You
Yeah.
definitely should
Speaking
read
of Christmas and Santa,
That's,
read that. It's nothing like the one that I recommend.
That's Christmas in Heaven.
It's good.
And Tony Moore of Battle Pope and
Walking Dead Volume
Walking
1.
Dead.
He's done
Of Lawsuit with Robert Kirkman fame.
Yeah, he's done Ghost Rider.
He did Brit too, didn't he? He did Brit with
I think he
Kirkman?
did some of that. Yeah, Exterminators.
Brit is a great series too, if you can pick it up.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, crosses over with Invincible
It does, yeah.
several times. So like all of Robert Kirkman's superhero stuff.
All same world.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Tech Jacket's in there.
Yeah.
Astounding
Wolfman
Wolfman's
does
in there.
crossover.
Yeah, most of the Image superhero guys all kind of exist in the same. Like,
Oh, they're Science Dog.
Yeah, Science Dog. Yeah. So,
Right? Do we want to go?
Fear Agent. Let's see. What do you think, Joe?
I liked it. I didn't get a chance to finish it because I'm lazy.
I
No,
gave you all
because
that time.
I'm incredibly busy. I
Batman.
really liked what I read of it. I'm a fan of the. I feel like it has this more pulpy sci-fi feel, which I really like.
Mhm.
I've also heard that it deepens as it progresses. I
Yeah.
did not get that.
The very
It
end
really
of
does.
the very end of this book is like, what the fuck? It's like great what the fuck moments all the time in this comic. That's stuff I love.
Which is, I think important.
What do you think, Cade?
I absolutely loved it. I felt it was a quintessential action sci-fi. I mean, I would go as far to say a novel.
Yeah.
As much as a graphic novel.
Yes.
It's got everything that would make a good science fiction
Yeah, for sure.
novel. You know, the explosions, the action, just all around everything. And
Yeah.
I especially loved the sound effect writing.
Yeah.
Like my favorites, Fragoom, Boom, and Rakouche.
Yeah. Yeah, sound effects, like, I always just, like, read past them until they catch your eye. You know, how many, like, bam and booms can you read before you're like, seen it.
Yeah.
But whenever somebody comes up with, like, really interesting sound effects,
Rakouche.
sounds, like, they just catch your eye in the, like, perfect way. And it's, like, really, you were saying, you know, it was, you know, novel-like even. And the pacing is so film-like, too, that it just, like, you just blow through this book so quickly. It's so cinematic in its action sequences. And the
You
art
do,
is just,
and-
like,
And you find yourself reading to issue 12, and then you're just like, wait, I was only supposed to read through issue 4.
yeah.
Just because there's like so much happening, and there's storylines within storylines within storylines throughout the whole run. I mean, I'm only on issue 12, but I can't wait to
Yeah.
finish 33, but
It keeps going too. Like there's so much in this series. I love the series a lot, and it's that kind of great thing where you get a creator who has control of his own shit. They're just like, oh yeah, go ahead, write a book, and Rick Remender just gets to go write these really intricate and well timed storylines out and take his time developing certain parts, and then just give you quick action scenes to get you through to the next chapter, leave you with great cliffhangers. He has such good creative control, and he works with two of the best artists in the industry on this book too. The other one being Jerome Pena, who does the next volume. They trade off every other volume. Tony Moore and Jerome Pena, and art's phenomenal in both. It doesn't falter between the books at all.
I love Tony Moore's art style. I've always been a sucker for it.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite things about Walking Dead, which I didn't care for as a book. Not with any problem with the book, other than it wasn't really my thing. It's a little too morbid for me.
Yeah.
But his artwork on it is astounding.
Yeah,
and in black and white too, which I think is.
When Charlie Adlard takes over in Volume 2, the number one thing I noticed is the characters have a lot less personality visually. It was harder to tell them apart from one another. But when Tony was drawing it, was so easy to tell who's who, and just the way he designs facial structure.
I was going to say the emotion. The emotion I felt was lost a lot.
Yeah,
which pulled me out of the book almost. Yeah. It is pretty jarring. Yeah. But kind of along what you were saying with Openia, the pass off between the two, the art style. I'm used to Openia stuff being so different, but they do such a good job of kind of bridging the gap that it is different.
Yeah.
But it's not jarring.
Yeah, and they're both fantastic. And as the series goes on, I feel like they're trying to one up each other. Where the next, one of them will see one of their issues and be like, "Oh, fuck you! I can draw something crazier than that." And then the next monster is even more insane, and then the next spaceship design is more in depth, and they just really challenged each other.
The next explosion is bigger. There's more buildings crumbling.
Yeah, it's just it gets more epic both in writing scope, but also in art. As the series goes on, and they spent more. As they got their feet under them and some issues came out, they got some, money and freedom to take a little time with the issues that I feel like they got to spend even more time on the art. So the art continues to get better as the issues go on as well.
One thing I don't think we've really touched on either is the humor though.
Yeah.
Not only is it a great action, sci-fi, adventure story, but there's some great moments of humor where it's pretty rare that I'll actually laugh out loud, but there's multiple times in the first few trades where I actually am oh yeah, which just doesn't happen for me. Yeah. So that was cool.
No, I completely agree. There was a lot of humor in the book, and as well as the characters were very deep as well. They all had very interesting stories that made the humor interactions even more funny.
Yeah. It's that great kind of universe building where you just throw the reader right in the middle of it. You're like, yeah, there's a universe that exists. So I'll tell you more about it later. Look at this explosion. And you're kind of, scrambling along with the main character who's kind of has that, Buck Rogers, Steve Rogers feel where he's a man at a time, he doesn't know what all this shit is. And he's just oh, whatever. I'm an exterminator. I'll kill stuff that I can shoot at, he's just doing what he can to make it through the universe. As the series goes on, you learn why is this human out in space? What's going on? When is this set? You learn all that stuff later, and I'm glad that you don't learn it in this book because it would really bog down the series. What little tidbits of information you get about Earth made contact with aliens through this one race of alien. That's it. You get these little nuggets of information that lead to more complicated information later. But in the first book, they don't want you to have to deal with that stuff. So it just throws you into this great story where Houston Heath, is that his name? Yeah. Yeah. Heath Houston, that's what it is. Lands on this planet and is fighting ape monsters and, they're building a giant spaceship for some reason. You have no idea what. You get there later, again, it's just Why is that there? I don't know. He's punching guys. Like, it's
Yeah.
that great pulp storytelling.
Yeah.
And the caption bubbles, like, read like pulp storytelling, too, you know? Where, like, it's kind of, you know, everybody uses Sin City as that example of, like, pulp, you know, kind of narrative. But in the movie, I think one of the best examples is when Marv is going through his gear.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got razor wire or whatever, my mitts, you know? Like, it's that kind of, like, tongue-in-cheek, like, pulp machismo.
Well, and I think...
It works so well.
Yeah, I think for me, Sin City is something that came out of pulp, which is the noir movement, the hard-boiled movement, and that's Frank Miller in Sin City does it's almost an ultra noir. That's how I like to think of it. I mean, literally, they're black pages where the only white at all is just like the white of a character's eyes or what have you. I think the thing I was struck with most is with Fear Agent is the juxtaposition between this and the last sci-fi we read, which was Prophet, which was very dry.
Yep.
And it was excellent, but it was very... this is pulp science fiction. Prophet was very, very hardcore sci-fi. There was very little humor. There was very little... like,
ephemeral.
Yeah,
to describe it, too.
It was much more... This is Buck Rogers. That was 2001.
Yeah, for sure. And this is out of that, you know, Buck Rogers pulp, like Two-Fisted Tales.
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
School, for sure.
And I love it. And I think there's a huge amount... I think in the same way that there's a huge potential to tell great stories in that medium. Yeah. And you get to do it through this kind of archetypal character. Yeah, it's like really...
You just grab this, like, hard-boiled detective or hard-boiled street leg breaker, tough guy, kind of, you know, Parker or Spencer or, you know... Marlowe. And you just, like, throw them into space. Yeah. You know? Like, you just, like, mixing these two, like, really iconic American pulp genres together. Yeah. You take characters from one... You've got this, you know, damsel in distress, possibly. Like, she's clearly is more knowledgeable than he is because he, like, shows up to save her and she's like, yeah, you're bleeding, you're gonna get us killed, let me bandage you up. Like, don't do this stupid shit. You know what you're doing. She's identifying aliens, like, almost as fast, if not faster, than he is. So, like, she's a damsel in distress, air quotes, kind of like just caught along for the ride because he sort of fucks everything up, you know? Like, she's not really in distress ever. Right. And, you know, she puts him in harm and he puts her in harm. So it's like this really cool, like, take on that kind of, you know, femme fatale character. Because she's, at this point in the story, like, she's never been, like, thought of as villainous. And she never really is later, I don't think. But you kind of, like, get the feeling that it's possible that she could be that kind of, like, fatale character because we don't know anything about her in this whole trade. Right. We learn almost nothing about her. And it's just it's good storytelling, good art, like, great design.
Just a lot of fun, like, all the way around.
Yeah. And just like the way that Buck Rogers and those pulp stories and Two-Fisted Tales were just, like, fun comics, you know? They were just fun stories. Yeah. This is designed to be fun first, you know? Yeah.
And one thing I think we kind of touched on, too, is if you haven't already read the second trade, I highly, highly recommend reading the first two together.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to not want to read this one right after the cliffhanger, final page, robot fight of the first trade. Like, the trade ends, like, just so iconic. Boom! You know, he's getting stepped on by a giant robot. Like, if you didn't immediately go... Oh, shit, I need to go get the next one. Yeah. Like, there's something wrong with you. Yeah. Because that's how cliffhangers work.
Yeah, I've actually... I've had some unpleasant experiences with that. Like, like 2 or 3 of the shows I watch have all ended in cliffhangers. And
what?
No more until next year.
It's like they planned that.
It's stupid. Yeah. There are shows that normally don't. That's the thing.
Really?
Normally they wrap up. Will Elmo come back? Yeah. Won't he? Yeah. Did he really have sex with that 16-year-old boy?
What happened to Bert and Ernie?
What happened to Ernie and Bert?
Where did they go?
Yeah. They went on sabbatical. It was amazing.
Best love story I've ever seen.
9.5 puppet weeks.
Yeah. We're in a
bad place today.
We're just awful
bad place today.
Just unsubscribe right now.
It's,
just go
don't,
find a
but-
different. Just go find a different.
because
podcast.
we're
I'm just gonna talk
eventually.
about Puppet Weeks.
I'm just gonna say it. Puppet sodomy.
I
I said
have
it.
a
It's out
question.
there. It's
Okay.
out there now. You
All
can't
right.
take that
Well,
back.
then-
Also, on
You
this
can't unhear
tangent,
that.
I have a question. Are Puppet Weeks longer or shorter than Human Weeks?
I have no idea.
Like dog years?
I mean, puppets. Do they really have a concept of time?
I don't know.
No.
I'm asking
I
you.
mean,
You're the
have
expert.
I have
That's
no
what
idea.
I'm asking you guys. Have any of them aged? No.
It's like,
Oh my god!
It's like,
well, Batman
like
really
DC.
hasn't done that much either.
it's like the DC universe.
I don't know.
Is Sesame,
remember.
is Sesame Street in the DC universe?
It
Should
could be. Could
Should
be.
be. Supergirl.
Well,
or
you know,
Superman
Disney.
team up.
That's actually, I guess, if it was going to be in anything, it'd be in the
Yeah.
Marvel universe because
That's
aren't the
true.
Muppets owned by Disney?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Disney now owns. Everybody's like, it's hilarious, you know. So it's not, it's well known by this point that Disney now owns LucasArts.
Yeah, actually, by the time this comes out, the next Star Wars movie will have happened already.
Probably,
because it's now
probably,
2016.
It's now 2018, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it was real good. We
amazing.
loved it. We
All
thought
right.
it was awesome.
No, so
Disney
everybody's like, oh well, now a Star Wars Marvel movie, and I'm like, why? Why would there ever be a reason to make that? And it would be awful if they did. It's like it's like what? Wolverine's gonna fight Luke Skywalker. Like Luke Skywalker wins. He's got a
the
lightsaber.
lightsabers
All
cut
right.
through adamantium. Come
It's
on,
like-
everyone knows that.
It's like
Pull out your
lightsabers cut through
I was gonna say,
everything.
they teach that in first grade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pull out your versus card. You know, your cards that tell you what superhero beats the other superhero. I know you've all got them. Pull them out of your wallet. Like,
This is actually from Wizard magazine,
Yeah.
circa like 1997. Yeah, somebody actually asked. Lightsabers cut through anything. They cut through anything, including adamantium.
Crisis on Infinite Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker shows up, kills Elmo, and Wolverine goes to avenge him.
Who goes to avenge
God.
him?
Elmo! More! No.
I actually want to see them do the old the Twisted Toy Fair theater with
Oh, I missed that
Wolverine. Wolverine is like.
Why is there not a YouTube channel for that?
I don't know, but there is. It's called Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
And Wolverine wakes up and he's like, crap, I'm late for a meeting. And he wakes up in Stark Tower and he's like, crap, I got to get out to the X-Men's. And he jumps over the balcony and he steals Tony Stark's spear on the way down. And he's telling everybody he's the best he is at what he does. And he makes out. It's great. It's great. And that's what I want to see. I want to see that movie.
That's Star Wars.
I want to see
Sesame
Twisted
Street,
Toy Fair Theater.
Sesame Street.
Marvel, I guess we could, yeah.
I don't know.
Were there
even know what we're
Megos?
talking
I
about.
don't even know. How did we even get
I
here?
don't know. I asked you about Puppet Weeks. We
Jesus
got
Christ. So
fucking
Puppet
wild.
Weeks are the same amount as
Oh, okay.
Weeks.
That's
Wikipedia said that.
Good knowledge. Good to know. Next time you're playing Trivia Pursuit, I'm sure that will be a question.
Actually, I've just been contacted by Bert and Ernie's lawyer, and they say that that was somewhat slanderous. That they're actually not a couple.
They're just bros.
They're just
It's
bros.
just a good bromance.
That's really what it is.
Just taking baths and washing each other's
And
boots. Like all good
I'm-
bromances do.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, clearly everybody said it. You've heard it, right? Bert and Ernie are gay, and they're clearly not because two gay men would never dress that way.
It's true.
All right.
Actually,
Really.
I love their sweaters. They're so hip.
I think their sweaters
so
are
hip
great, but
now.
they're
I was gonna say-
hipsters.
They're
I was gonna
back
say
in
they're
style.
not-
Like,
I was
they're
gonna say
not-
tight slacks.
Yeah.
They're not
and-
gay. They're hipsters.
Yeah.
They shop
They're
at
gay
Goodwill.
hipsters.
Yeah. No, they're not. That's the thing.
Gangsters.
They're,
Gay, hip gays. I don't know.
Metrosexuals.
They're
That's
metrosexuals.
fine.
That's what it is. That's really what it is. So it's cool. You know, it's cool. And we have a lot of love for the gay community. up here.
Hey, we're in Washington.
Yeah, hey, yeah,
We
Washington.
make everything in
That's-
the U.S. better.
We do, including gay marriage and marijuana,
Yeah.
which we do not advocate the using of unless you are over
We
21 and
do.
live in Washington State, where it's now legal.
Yeah. Except for also we advocate meth.
Meth, do meth.
Yeah.
You remember those commercials? Like,
Do
I want
meth.
my house to be that clean. I mean, is that a guarantee if I do meth that my house will be that clean? That'd
No,
be great.
but you will eat so much candy your teeth fall out from grinding them on the
I
sugar
don't
candy.
want to do that. That sounds unpleasant. So, comic books are somewhere in there.
Also, View from the Gutters, sponsored by meth.
This is View from the Gutters. I'm Joe Preti.
Sponsored by meth. What are we talking about? We're talking about Fear Agent.
We were talking about Fear Agent.
So
and,
consensus.
Oh, we were talking about Star Wars. This is how we got into Sesame Street.
Oh, right.
I don't remember what you were going to say about it.
I was going to say, I don't
Distracted
even
you.
remember how that came up.
I
We were talking
distracted
about
you.
Muppets first. We were talking about
Oh, we were talking about how dumb the
cliffhangers.
crossover.
We were talking about
the
cliffhangers.
crossover between Marvel and Star Wars would
Star
be.
Wars would
Yeah,
be,
it'd
which
be
would
dumb.
be
But
awful.
what I do like is the previous property that Disney bought before Marvel was Pixar,
Right.
which they used to own and then like repurchased. I'd love to see
Right.
Pixar take a stab at either Marvel characters.
That'd be
or
great.
Star Wars
I
characters.
think that'd be great.
that kind of
Something
stuff
that we have to thank Steve Jobs to thank for Pixar.
Yeah.
Nobody gives him credit for that. But,
Yeah.
that was all him.
only him.
It was he did all of it by himself.
By himself.
Apple. I'm starting to think he ran all of Apple by himself
yeah,
too.
Toy
because
Story was a
all-
documentary he made.
It was.
About
With
his
that-
toy.
with
It's all
an
metaphorical. It's all metaphorical.
iPhone 1, he used it to
uh,
film a documentary.
Woody is an older flip phone,
Some-
and
yeah.
Buzz represents the iPhone,
Yeah.
and clearly
Miss Piggy's an Apple II.
Miss-
and,
yeah, it's true. Miss
or,
Piggy
no,
is in
no,
there.
it's Mrs. Potato Head.
With a potato head.
It's an
yes.
Apple II. And
But cliffhangers, I think
Yeah.
cliffhangers are good when they're used the right way, and I think they're
And they're-
wrong just to stick in there to make you watch something.
But they are awesome in this book. In
Yeah,
Fear
well,
Agent,
that's-
there is no wrong
I think
with the
that's
cliffhanger in Fear Agent.
I think a cliffhanger, like most other tropes or literary devices, in the hands of a good writer, is a good thing. In the
Yeah.
hands of a mediocre writer, it's awful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well-
like,
And it's also like this great story too in Fear Agent. I've been thinking of this a lot lately, but like Fear Agent does the thing I like about a series that has a huge universe to explore that is great, where it doesn't like be like, what's out there? Like it never poses that question to
Yeah.
you. It just drops little nuggets so that you're constantly asking what's out there. Like the
Right.
Well,
the
it's-
author isn't like forcing you to ask that question.
It's the same reason that people love Alfred Hitchcock movies versus modern horror movies.
Yeah.
You're creating it yourself.
yeah.
Right.
There's nothing. They're not spoon feeding.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was just talking about this. I just, before the podcast today, I watched a movie with a friend of mine and an old film professor of mine, and we were talking about what's compelling about certain movies, and they force you to move. They
Yeah.
force you to move. You have to go to them. They don't
Right.
meet you. And so, I think
Yeah, this
that's-
book, like just these little nuggets, these little dustings of information. And you're
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, what's that?" And you like reach for it, and then they take it away.
and I think
And
that
you just keep going back to like dig at the universe more,
Yeah.
as opposed to like what I would call the quote unquote lost school of writing, where it's like, "What was that?
Yeah.
What's over there?
Yeah.
Who's that guy?" And you're like, "I don't know. Am I supposed to care about that?
Well,
I
it's
guess
not-
I don't know." And
yeah.
it works for a lot of people. Like
Yeah.
that really works, and that sells shows, and that's fine. And like that's a school of writing that is very popular and effective, and that's great. But what this does, I think, is more.
Engrossing.
Yeah, it's more engrossing, and it's also just like, it's more skillful, is what I would
Yeah.
call it. Like
Well,
it's a more
it's-
skilled writer.
It's much
luring
easier
you
to
in.
fuck that up. 'cause-
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when you pull it off well as a writer, I
Mhm.
think this is one of the things I love about Neil Gaiman's Sandman,
Mm.
is that you are forced to put so much of yourself into it that after a while, you're just, after the second or third trade, you've either accepted that you're just going to have to accept things and go along with it, or you're done with it. You're
Yeah,
going to put it down and walk away.
Neil Gaiman does that great in general. I'm reading
Yeah.
Stardust right now.
No,
and it's
and
just
yeah.
like, what is this
It's like-
world? Oh, well, just
He's
play
very
along.
clear about,
Here it
I'm not
comes.
explaining all of this to you.
Yeah.
You have to kind of, this is something for you to think about when you're not reading. These
Yeah.
are the stories I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And I think I talked about this in the Prophet podcast that
Mhm.
we did. That there's kind of a moment, or maybe not even a moment, but a certain point you hit in each book you read or whatever, where you either realize that you're gonna love it and go along with it,
Mhm.
or it's just not for you.
Yeah.
And with Prophet, it was when he has sex with that
With the vagina headed thing.
the vagina.
For me, it
looking-
was like on the very first page where he like lays his gear out. And I don't know
Yeah,
why,
no,
like
no,
every
that
time
was
anyone
very
does that in a
cool.
book, I'm like, yeah, take an
No.
inventory of the stuff. he
Because
has.
you know that shit is about.
To
I
go
like
down.
I like lists,
It's
and
about-
like when they
it's,
lay it out in front of me, I like that.
It's Chekhov's gun,
Yeah,
right? It's Chekhov's gun. It's like you know that you're seeing that shit because he's going to use it.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you're not taking stock of your inventory because nothing's going on. It's not like, hey, we're really bored. Let's see the stuff we have. It's like,
no.
shit is going down.
Check out
make
this cool
sure
shit I'm about to use today.
we gotta make sure we have all the supplies we need to go on a badass adventure.
Yeah.
And like that to me was like whenever they're like packing their backpack up in any adventure or like gathering shit together.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I'm in.
It's a
Where
more,
we go? Hey, where are we going? I'm ready to go.
it's a more classy.
Let me
putting
get
the
my
knife-
go bag too.
Yeah, I get all the same stuff that he had and like lay it out on my table like as I'm reading it. I'm like, I'm ready to go.
It's an interactive adventure for you. Really.
For me,
That's
yeah.
funny because what I put out while I was reading that is like, here's my milk and my peanut butter sandwich and my computer and my phone
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
my
Well, you're a lot more practical than I am.
well, you know.
It's just
I'm like, we're going on an adventure. This is a delicious sandwich. Oh my god, I feel great
you know, that
now.
comfy chair. Well, I read it running down the street to try to get to where they're at. You know, I'm like holding it in front of me as I run down the street. Like, when am I going to get to where he's at? Because I don't
Peanut butter
understand.
sandwich is Chard's chainsaw.
Yeah, I don't understand
you
the
know,
difference
let me
between
tell you,
fiction and reality.
if
I'm
I
going to say
wanna-
that right
You've been
now.
playing too many video games.
I don't know what it is. I don't get it.
If I want a good adventure, I put on Man vs. Wild and let Bear have the adventure
Ugh.
for me, and then I'm just like,
I'm
oh,
sick of that guy.
I haven't gotten sick of him yet.
I hate him.
I love that he makes the same face every time he eats something.
He's like the dumbest survival guide ever. He's like, hey, kids, when you're trying to survive in the wilderness, don't do anything that I'm about to do. Let's jump in a raging
But
river
he's
of water.
showing-
Dead. Like every time he's like about
showing
to
you
die.
He's showing you how to survive that situation.
Just don't get in that situation in the first
Yeah,
place.
we
Like
can't
keep
always-
your doors
can't
locked
always-
and don't go outside. It's easy.
That's true. Which is why my idea of an adventure is just watching Man
Yeah,
vs. Wild
that's
on
fair.
Discovery Channel.
Although, you gotta watch Survivor Man.
Survivor Man is that guy's insane.
That guy's so good.
He's a teacher.
Yeah, he
He's
also...
he's a teacher. He did it for his class. To
Of all the great shit that he did, like he films it all himself, he goes out there himself. My favorite part is that he wrote his own theme song.
yeah.
Like, what? Why would you do that? There's like, you can hire a guy that could do that, but no,
No,
he's
no,
like, no,
no,
I'm
no.
gonna fucking write
He's
this.
fucking Survivor Man.
Yeah, I'm
He
gonna-
doesn't need somebody to write his theme song.
Fucking
for
do
him.
all of it. Do you want someone to like help carry the cameras for you? Fuck you guys, I'm taking them myself. I'll write you a
I
great
feel
theme
like
song.
he just
Fuck
showed
you.
up to like Discovery Channel headquarters and was like, "I'm taking this shit.
Yeah.
I'll be back."
Yeah.
I feel like he just showed up and just handed them like 100 episodes and was like, bye. Like, he's already done that. Like, he's just been filming it himself. He's like, fuck you guys. I just made this show for no reason.
I think that's
Yeah.
a much more likely scenario.
Yeah, that's why he's my hero way more than Bear Grylls was.
Yeah,
Like,
but-
Grylls is like a different show. You know,
It is,
if
it
you
is.
like hot men and jumping into
like
rivers
this
for
amount
no
of-
reason.
He's climbed Everest twice.
I know, like, he's good, and he's a good adventurer.
It's-
That's great, but he's not teaching you how to survive anything. I feel like, I don't know.
I mean,
He's like eats a bug and
I
pees
don't
on his
necessarily
leg.
think I'm remembering anything Les Stroud has told me either. I think if I get lost in the wilderness, I'm like, well,
Time to die.
I start looking around for other people that have died around me so I can start eating them.
Yeah. Well,
But finally,
this is,
6 hours later, I was like, I had to eat them to survive.
This is where I die. It's like the Louis C.K. sketch where he's like, if no one had told me that having sex with animals is wrong, I would have done it, you know?
Yeah, right.
Like, if I, like, the amount of time after an apocalypse that I would start having sex with animals is like an hour. There's not even enough time to check that an apocalypse has actually happened. So I feel like about you eating dead people. It's like,
Yeah, no, seriously.
10 minutes have gone by, you're eating a guy, and then a car goes past, and you're like,
They
whoops.
don't even really have to be that dead
Yeah.
either. I mean, like,
They're just tired. They're sleeping, and you take a bite out of their ass.
Have you guys heard this is a legitimate story about there's a hunter that got lost in the woods, and after a half an hour of being lost, he started eating like raw, like ducks and stuff that he found, and then was rediscovered like an hour later.
thank God you found me! Thank God you found me!
I've been out here for years.
He was feral at that
Yeah.
point.
It's like when Wolverine goes into the woods for like 4 minutes in any X-Men comic and comes out 4 minutes later with like 100 pounds of beard and hair, and it's just like running around on all fours, and they have to retame him and repotty train him.
I also call that we need to make Wolverine compelling again strategy.
It happened like every 4 minutes in the
Yeah,
early 2000s.
It did. It was,
That was
I
great.
blame Jean Grey.
I love it when he gets like crazy mad hair, beard combo Wolverine. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I think that's actually. I mean, I like him with the beard and the hair and shit, but I hate feral Wolverine. I think it's a cop out.
Oh, of course it is.
I like
Wait, really?
my favorite. I like Jason Aaron's Wolverine
Yeah.
and Rick Remender's Wolverine. It's like, hi, I'm Wolverine. I'm here to kill you.
Yeah.
I'm not here to talk nicely to you.
Well, I was like Claremont set that up too, like in the very first Wolverine miniseries. I feel like it was a lot like that too.
Yeah, Claremont did it. Claremont did it well. But I mean, I like was Greg Rucka and Derek Robertson on Wolverine, where he goes after the Brotherhood, and there's this 2-page splash of him just like arms out, claws out, and just screaming like you are all going to die.
My favorite Wolverine story is actually like a Ripclaw story.
Really?
Which is like a rip-off Wolverine. During pilot season for Top Cow, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, somebody rebooted, like, did a Ripclaw.
Why?
Like, one issue.
Why?
It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. It was like what I wish Wolverine was like. So it's like him... I don't even... Just find it. It's so good, but I'll explain it to you guys really shittily on the podcast. If you want to skip this section, fast forward like 2 minutes. Anyway. So he like...
Don't write that down.
Don't
write that down.
He like walks into like a room and there's like 100 like fucking Yakuza or something. And he's like, all right. And he like pulls his knives out. And then the next panel is him like after he's killed all of them, like thinking about what he has to do now. Like it just skips all of the action that is Wolverine. And like
awful.
it's just like...
It's awful.
No, it's so good. Believe me,
Wait,
it
was
works
Ripclaw
so well.
the blue and green guy from Wildcats with the ponytail, or was he the blatant? Was he the Jim Lee ripoff of Wolverine, or was he the Rob Liefeld
I don't know.
ripoff of Wolverine?
I have no idea. They're the same
Because
character
it was
in
like-
my mind. They're the same guy.
We're Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld. We're leaving Marvel Comics to go and form our own comics company. We're going to call it Image Comics, and we're going to write the X-Men there, but we're going to call it something different.
John Burns.
But they're all going to look like the fucking X-Men with Hulk.
Men.
It's like, well, there's Wolverine, and there's Wolverine again, and there's Wolverine again. Just it's like amazing. It was X-Men in a way that you had seen them many times before.
You know what would be great is, you know how they did the Deadpool core where he like went through the multiverse and gathered like shitty versions of Deadpool?
Yeah.
I'd much rather see that with Wolverine. Where he's like,
that's okay. Yeah. So this is the shitty Rob Liefeld one.
Yeah. So it's
or Mark Silvestri one. I'm sorry.
So it's like that character that has no right to be. It's like Prophet. It was like when they rebooted Prophet, like a character that has no right to be good at all. Like somebody wrote like a really interesting story with them.
Yeah. I see.
Also, gotta love Top Cow's pilot season. Every year, it's so good.
Oh, Cyberforce. That's what Mark Silvestri's X-Men was called. Cyberforce.
I do really want a Wolverine series where he like goes through all the different, like the Exiles like take him through all the different universes and let him like gather a team of only Wolverines and he like goes on super badass adventures together.
We've just found the Holy Grail. It's a picture of Ripclaw and Wolverine and
Psylocke and the rip-off Psylocke.
And the rip-off Psylocke.
Well, I don't know who that is.
We don't.
There are movies, and it's good enough to sell a comic.
Would actually be like the perfect Remender story.
God, it would be so cool. Because they'd just be like arguing with themselves all the time. Like, no, I'm the best at what I do. No, I'm the best at what I do.
Wolverine. That's Wolverine.
Yeah.
It's all you've done is, anyways.
That's why that's my favorite Wolverine story is actually a Ripclaw set. Find that pilot season book. It's good. I promise you. It's cool.
No, I just feel like I'd look it up and my computer would explode from the awfulness.
I promise you, it's good. It's like modern. It's modern shit.
I mean, I remember waiting for Deathmate, which was the Image Valiant crossover. Like they were gonna do something amazing, like Amalgam.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't throw up. Okay, good.
What? You don't like Dark Claw?
Okay, you're dead to me. You're dead to me now, and
does anyone like Dark? I mean, like besides, like
I liked it.
Yeah, when we were like 8.
No, I can't even deal with it. Yeah. I mean, I might go back and read what was it, Iron Lantern, because Kurt Busiek wrote that.
Yeah,
but
I don't think you would though.
I wouldn't.
I
wouldn't.
I'd rather look at it for like 4 seconds.
I would rather pluck my testicles from my scrotum, sharpen them to a point, and jam them into my eyeballs.
If you didn't read Fear Agent until today, you're never going to read that.
Yeah, you got way more shit to read than before you go back and read Iron Lantern.
I've got... I'm still like working my way through Walter Simonson's Thor, then I got to read John Byrne's Fantastic Four, and...
Man, that shit's old.
I
Read new comics.
Shit. No, fuck that. New comics are... Yeah.
Nah, I hear you. What was it? Wait, who wrote Iron Lantern? Was it John Byrne?
It was Kurt Busiek.
Busiek, yeah.
Yeah.
Busiek has like a million other things you should read before that anyway.
Absolutely, and most of them are good.
Almost all of them. I love Busiek.
Yeah, I mean, you should read his. You should read Marvels, which was good.
Yeah.
Kurt Busiek and
One
Alex
time I'm
Ross.
gonna recommend.
Yeah, I've got it in hardback. I got a really good price on it, but I remember reading it, and because I had it when it first came out, and they did the acetate front cover, and then these really beautiful like cardboard covers underneath, and like this is back in like 96, 97, and they were expensive, like $5 a piece. But I was like, they're so pretty, and then some bastard stole them.
Ah.
I'm gonna go on a what is the kind of revenge Uma Thurman gets in Kill Bill? Some kind of crazy revenge. Samurai sword revenge. I'm going to go find this bastard one day and get samurai sword revenge.
Super revenge.
I'm going to castrate him.
Bill revenge.
Bill revenge.
I'm just trying to help.
Rip roaring rampage.
Ripclaw revenge.
Ripclaw roaring revenge. I'm going to go Wolverine on
Tarantino
it.
revenge.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I'll never do it. I'll never do it because I'm too lazy. But
I got a bag packed
You'll
already.
watch Bear Grylls do
Full
it.
of
I watch
events.
Bear Grylls do it, and it'll be amazing because he'll be like, you just get this douchebag right here, rip his arm off, and that's good to eat raw. And then he'll eat it. He'll be like,
Which is also not true or
wash
helpful.
it-
So
wash it
perfect
down
Bear
with my
Grylls
piss.
information. I feel like he's just lying to me all the time.
No. Fish you can eat raw. Fish you can
Oh,
eat
your
raw.
pee? Yeah, you can drink
You
that.
can do your pee.
What? No.
Anyways.
I watched Waterworld. You got to put that through a Mr. Coffee first.
Anyways. Marvel's, great stuff. Astro City is great stuff. As Conan stuff, great.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take a minute. We were speaking about Wolverine for a minute, and I wanted to say that one of the things about Fear Agent, we've been off that for a while.
Yeah, it's
That's
because
fine.
Toby
Like
isn't
20
here.
minutes. That's okay.
Toby isn't here to keep us on track. And we're just like, puppet sodomy.
One of the things is I did find myself comparing Heath Houston to Wolverine a couple of times throughout the first trade.
Well, he Wolverine in a lot of ways draws from that kind of like pulp hero, that like not
Well, the autonomous,
like lone wolfy,
I
pulp
think
guy, you know,
I think which is what
tougher than
makes-
nails Parker character, you know.
Yeah, which is why I think when Wolverine is cool is when you put him in a team dynamic and he's written in that way. It's really interesting to see that because he's not really a team player, and I like Wolverine the best when he comes up against that and realizes that the X-Men are his. Because he always goes to bat for him.
He loves him. He loves Morph so much.
But
He does. He really loves Morph. I couldn't save him. But Heath has got that cavalier kind of like shoot first, ask questions later. Han Solo type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I mean,
Indiana
he's
Jones
nowhere
type thing.
near as charming or as like, I mean, like he's Han Solo, but he's not like, hey, we just took Han Solo and put him in a different set.
No,
like,
no.
He's different enough from Han Solo that he's also a drunk, which makes him a great character in and of itself. Like none of us have mentioned that he's an outraging alcoholic yet.
I actually had it on the list of things I wanted to mention.
You know, you're not supposed to bring notes to this. It just makes the rest of us look bad.
You can bring them, but you're not supposed to mention them.
Yeah, you can't let people know that we didn't finish reading
Also,
the book.
for anyone
or do
that's
a
curious, I brought more notes than Cade.
You did what? Oh, where are they? Did you bring enough? to
I
share with the
actually
rest of
brought
the
Rick
class?
Remender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Is
kind
he,
of
he's
the
in the trunk.
We have
You
questions
ate his arm because you thought you were lost in the wilderness. Thanks
we did.
a fucking
I
lot,
took a
Joe.
wrong turn. I didn't recognize any of the houses, and I was like, "We're fucked. We're all gonna die. Give me your arm."
And then Bear Grylls told you it was okay to eat it, so you did.
Oh, it was amazing. No,
Terrible.
I actually cooked it on the engine block.
Oh, good.
It was delicious. I
This
mean,
is
he
I
a
understand
horrible
eating his
story.
arm, but did you have to drink his urine? That's
Yeah, it's only clean when you drink your
you know,
own, right?
you can only live for 3 days without fresh water. All right, and I had just gone
It had been 30 minutes since I'd even
30
seen water.
minutes since I'd even seen a house I recognized. Like 5 or 10 minutes.
I got slightly foggy. I thought I was in Silent Hill and
It
there
was-
were zombies, so
it was
I
bad.
had
It
to
was
drink
bad.
some pee. All right,
This-
what
this
were we
is-
talking? We
this
got
is
lost
the
again.
worst
may or may not
episode
have been
ever.
my next door neighbor.
Yeah, we got Yeah, we got distracted.
We are
What
I
way-
had
happened?
fun editing this episode. I
I'm
think.
not editing any of this.
This
That's
is gold. Comic gold.
Spoilers, no editing happens on the show. I just edit the volume so that Joe's yelling is the same level as...
It's like,
Cade
does that
and
mean my
Matt's
talking
whispering.
is like, wait out
Yeah, you're on the show. You're the quietest person because I edit you under everybody else.
here? Start talking.
That's just creepy.
I kind of like it.
Okay.
I
can
don't
see
think
it.
it's
I'm also sitting right across from him. Feels like he's whispering.
It's just
know.
for you.
It's-
I'm not recording any of this.
Welcome
It's
to
just for
Views
us.
from the Gutter. Welcome to Views from the Gutter.
Just view from the gutter.
View.
Just
I-
view. It's like The
I don't even
View.
know. Wait a minute.
Welcome
This
to
is
The
just-
View.
I'm in the wrong place. I gotta go. I'm out.
It's just called The View, guys.
Welcome to The View about shit you care about.
Yeah.
You probably don't.
The View,
Like, let's
The
be honest,
View-
you downloaded this because you were like, Gutter? View from the Gutter, is it about looking up girls' skirts?
I
And
like
then you realized
that.
it wasn't. Yeah. Just put the Met down. Just put the Met down. Unless you haven't done any today, in which case, enjoy.
Yeah. View from the Gunners is sponsored by Matt.
And
So,
eating Rick Remender.
Our
Yeah.
picks.
Our picks.
Our picks.
Oh, wait, we jump into that? Cade, do you have anything else you want? We were talking about alcoholism, speaking of drug abuse.
yes, that's-
Well, yeah, we were
yes.
talking about him being an alcoholic. God, we're off topic tonight.
I wanted to mention that right from the get-go, he talks about Annie and he talks about drinking, and you're just like, okay, I get the drinking. He must be a drunk. You know, we don't really know this stuff. It does lend itself to a very deep backstory involved.
Yeah.
But you're just like, who the fuck's Annie? And I'm with you on the drink.
Yeah, well, and also just like, you know, he needs... There's a great line in here, too, where he's like talking to a commanding officer or some like space force guy. And he's like, oh, the problem wasn't that I was drunk, it was that I was not drunk enough during the mission, you know? He's
I have
got that
problem
kind
a
of
lot.
like stupid drunk luck that keeps him alive out in space, you know, kind of like Conan or any other like, you know, hard-boiled.
He looks for liquor like Marv looks for coke.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
Nice.
he's just like, yeah, the first thing he does when he stops at that space station is like stops in the duty-free store essentially and fills a whole box full of whiskey. And then it's like, oh shit, there are aliens here that I was supposed to be killing.
You know, I
he
hate
has
when
his
that
priorities.
happens.
He has his priorities straight. Like, get to the whiskey first, kill the aliens later.
I think that's a good priority.
And it would also comes from like, what you immediately question like, you know, oh, he's drinking a lot. Cool, I like drinking. But there's kind of this like, well, why does he need to drink? Like, there's kind
it's
of
got
this
kind of
like,
a dark undertone.
Yeah.
To it, a little bit.
like
Um,
he needs to be drunk all the time. Like, like he's actually an alcoholic, not the funny like, I'm an alcoholic.
Well, it
'cause I
seems
drank
less
this week."
like, oh, plot device, this will make Tony Stark a more interesting character, when
Yeah.
it really won't, because it's just kind of like, whatever.
yeah.
yeah.
This
But
is
more
like-
like, this is a deep,
Like he's got.
this is
yeah.
a symptom of something.
He needs to
Yeah,
drink
it's-
because he saw some horrible shit.
Yeah.
And like you're gonna see it in later issues. Like
Right.
you get to see the horrible shit he saw and you're like, yeah, I would drink every day, all day if I saw that too.
I haven't been through horrible shit, and I want to drink every day. I mean,
Yeah.
let's be
It
honest.
goes back to the great storytelling we were talking about earlier. He does just enough of everything to keep
Yeah.
you occupied to get to those stories later
Yeah.
and spread them out into arcs, which end up being really amazing.
Yeah, at the same time he's building that like complicated universe we were talking about where you like keep digging, you're like, I want more. Like he builds the main character, Heath Houston, in much the same way, where you're like, oh, he's from Earth. Oh, I want to know more about that. Oh, you don't get any more of this issue. You're like, you'll get that later.
Right.
Oh, he's a drunk. I want to know more about that. Oh, you don't get that now. Like these little nuggets of information, not only about the universe.
Which,
But,
yeah.
And there's also Annie, who I
Mm-hmm.
found was a great character. Like,
Mhm.
you know, not many people or not many comic books have the interactions with the artificial intelligence
Mhm.
to the point that they do in this.
Yeah, she's the first character that he speaks to that speaks back to him, you know, because he's dealing with like primitive monkey whatevers, and then like
An ape.
who knows what they are, like class G life forms, intelligence life forms, and so you know the first like character he interacts with is an artificial intelligent ship computer, basically nav computer thing. And you learn like almost nothing about her.
Right.
Like she's, I mean, she's such like a throwaway character. It seems in this issue, but like you're like, I want to know more about that thing again.
Right,
Like more of
right.
that great writing.
It's also the first person he even mentions in the book.
Yeah,
His first words are, "This morning, Annie wakes me."
yeah. So you know, there's like that's an important.
Something's
And he
going
like
on
he
there.
feels some kind of like connection to the AI. She like kind of humanizes him in a way because spends all this time alone in space. It's probably the only person.
And in a
Talks
later
to-
book, he even says, "If you had an orifice and a still in you, I'd never leave."
Yeah, you know, it's the only human quote unquote contact he gets out of space. So
Right.
it's a good character that like becomes more interesting too as the stories go on. So yeah, overall, I think we'd all recommend it. to
Yeah,
someone.
absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
think
Read all of it.
keep reading
All
it,
33.
yeah.
Yeah, read all of it. And if sci-fi doesn't isn't your thing, if you're not into it or whatever, which I think is crap, I think everybody has the potential to be into it. I think you should just stop bitching and pick it up. You should definitely pick up Rick Remender's run on Uncanny X-Force because it is brilliant.
Yeah,
And it is,
actually, anything that he's done. with
Yeah, I
it,
mean,
like,
anything. He's writing Avengers now, isn't he?
yeah, coming up.
Which should
has
be
that started yet?
interesting.
I think it.
It's
I don't
either
know.
coming
Who
up or
knows?
just
it started 4
started.
years ago when you're listening to this.
But
So,
but
it's 2018.
he does one of the things I love about him is the way he thinks about things, and he definitely in this very the only way I can think to describe it is the first time I watched Firefly by Joss Whedon. There's in the second episode there's this actually in the very first episode the cop is on the ship and he's got Simon and there's pretty much a standoff, and instead of like this whole melodramatic oh my god what's gonna happen, Captain Mel just pulls his revolver and shoots the guy, and that's it. And I was like, I remember seeing that and feeling that was so refreshing because that never happened. Rick Remender's run on Uncanny X-Force is all like that.
Yeah,
It's all like that.
It's that kind of thing that like endears you to a character like Han Solo
Yeah.
or like Indiana Jones when he just shoots the scimitar guy in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Or like,
It's-
you just like, I don't have time to deal with your bullshit. Boom.
Yeah,
Moving
yeah.
on. Like, this
It's-
is characters very much like that.
Yeah.
And and a lot of just like pulp heroes and just like detective fiction, characters that you really get endeared to are like that a lot too, where they're just like, shoot first, ask questions later.
Which is great.
They have a moral compass, so they're not just like, kill everyone. So they're like still an interesting character, but they're like, I understand that you stand between me and the shit I'm trying to get done, so you gotta go. You gotta get out of here.
In a lot of ways, they're the people you would want to be if society didn't hold you back.
Or at least like be around.
Yeah.
Like if society fell apart, like you're those are the kind of people you'd be like, yeah, I'd follow that guy.
Yeah.
He knows how to get his shit done.
Yeah.
And he made Archangel cool again, which is like
no
easy.
easy feat.
I don't know how he did that, but it was good.
He did it,
Yeah.
and he did it with aplomb.
Also made Deadpool in a time where Deadpool is in every fucking book, like actually compelling.
Yes. Deadpool, I think, has lost his way horribly in comics recently.
Well, people want to write him like an idiot
because they're like, oh, he's a joke of a joke now. Like they forget that Deadpool is a human. At one point, was a human being, and at times will be like, shit, I'm crazy. Like, what am I doing? Why? What? Questions himself. Now it's just like a joke for every panel.
Well, also what he does in Uncanny X-Force, I think, which is the greatest thing, is he like questions other characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is something you don't see him do ever in his own books. He's like, whatever, wacky fun time. But like when you see him and be like, turn to another character and be like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that? Like you're like, whoa, even Deadpool thinks that's crazy.
Well, there's a point in the run where he's like, this isn't bothering you guys.
Yeah.
Like, what
absolutely.
Like it's bothering me, and I'm the crazy one.
Yeah.
And that's such like a grabbing moment. Because all you know Deadpool.
You're like, oh my god, Deadpool is the moral compass. What the fuck has happened?
What has gone wrong with these characters?
Yeah,
it's great too because if you read the X-Force run right before Uncanny X-Force,
which was
I don't remember who wrote it, but it had Wolverine and Wolfsbane and X-23 and Archangel, and it was during all of the like Messiah Complex stuff. Like during that whole era of X-Men, that X-Force also had a problem with like they have no moral compass and they need someone to like, you know, put them back on the right track, and I think that happened really well in Uncanny X.
Yeah.
So like, he's not only is he like kind of reestablishing Deadpool as a character to do that, but he's also drawing on previous shit that happened in X-Force. He's a smart writer.
Well, yeah, he's using characters
attention.
in ways that they're compelling, and using characters in ways that I think other writers are afraid to use.
He's just smart. He pays attention.
Yeah,
Like he read other books and he's like, "That worked there. I'll use that here. That works."
He's able to step back from it and really look at each person as an individual.
Yeah.
And he's able to look at their motivations and be able to not just look at their motivations, but take them and put them in an unexpected fashion that seems, after you read it, when you read it, it kind of it makes you think more, but afterwards it seems so natural,
right?
And it really seems to move the story forward.
It has fucking great balance as a writer too, because at the same time he's doing all that like really intricate, you know, like detailed interpersonal character stuff and character building and like compelling you to like be interested in these characters. He's also got like a 14-page action sequence happening where everything fucking blows up. And he balances that so well in a way that other writers like would kill to be able to do.
Well, and for me, the thing that really tops it off for me is he writes Phantom X, who's a Grant Morrison character, like Grant Morrison would, which is fucking difficult.
Well, he pays attention.
Yeah,
he read that character and was like, "Oh, that's what that character's like." Like he just fucking gets it, you know. Like he's just a really, really smart guy.
Yeah,
he's also like the nicest guy ever in comics too. Yeah, I met him at like if you're in the Northwest and you go to Emerald City Comic Con, he's there like every year. Like go talk to him. I'm sure like he's super nice. Like you know, I went and talked to him right after I had finished reading Fear Agent, and I was like, you know, such nerd. You know, like
I understand.
Nerd freeze at the moment. I was like, "Oh, I finished Fear Agent. I really liked your book." He's like, "Oh, how did it read all in one sitting, like in the trades?" And I like did not have a prepared answer. So I'm like, "Oh, that's good. Bye." Like he's just the nicest guy ever, and like really cares about what people think about his books. Nice. And this was like before he had started writing Uncanny X-Force, and like before everybody blew up. And he was like, "Oh, are you reading my run on Punisher?" And I was like, "No, not yet." And he's like, "I'll read it. Jerome Pena's killing it on there." And I was like, "Okay." Like that's when I like started tuning into the fact that, you know, Rick Remender really loves Opena's work too.
Right.
You know, they don't just happen to work together on stuff, but like Remender really truly believes he's one of the best comic book artists in the business. Rightfully so.
I was gonna say he's right to think that
because he is. You know, Opena's great.
Yeah.
And read the next trade of Fear Agents so you can see Jerome Opena.
Or just read all of them.
Just read all of it.
Just read all of it. It's so fucking good. It's still ongoing, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so. It's
like slowly.
I was gonna say it's slowed down
like
a lot,
dripping out of the tap.
But it's as far as I know, it's still going.
Yeah. It's either
and I do believe they're very close to coming out with a hardcover. I think it collects the first 3 or 4 trades actually.
Oh, nice.
In like the next 3 or 4 months.
I'd love to see that, you know, like they did the Hellboy library editions or whatever.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'd love to see that, but I would also love to just see the Dark Horse omnibus editions of this. You know, the
little ones.
The littler ones. I mean, like the art suffers a little bit because it's slightly smaller.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see a bigger.
But as far as like price point goes, like those Dark Horse omnibuses are awesome.
Yeah, they really can't be beat.
Yeah, they're so good. Like the Cal McDonald. Is that what it's called?
Oh, yes, Steve Niles, Cal McDonald.
Yeah, they came out with one of those.
That's Macabre. No.
Criminal Macabre.
Criminal Macabre.
Yeah, that stuff just came out in an omnibus, and like all the Star Wars stuff is in omnibuses. And, Rex Mundi that I recommended.
The Mask
is in those. So yeah, like I would love to see that happen for
Alien Predator stuff.
Yeah, the AVP and Aliens.
Well, let's get on to recommendations.
Like 4 hours into this episode.
Yeah, I know, right? If only we had done that, had that conversation earlier.
Well, we had to talk about puppets.
We had to talk about puppet sodomy and stuff,
for no reason. Let's just cut that whole middle section out.
Yeah, right.
Nope.
Just boop.
Yeah.
So,
you go first.
You want me to go first? Okay, I brought, speaking of Kurt Busiek, and... I brought
Remember
Astro
20
City.
minutes ago when we mentioned Kurt Busiek?
You remember? Yeah, I'm sure you do, because you're still reeling in pain from puppet sodomy. Every time I say it, it's like a dagger in your soul. Astro City, The Tarnished Angel. This was
Volume 3?
that's volume 2. Yeah, it's volume 2 or 3, and it collects. It's volume 2. It collects issues 14 through 20.
That'd be volume 3.
Because
Because 2 would be like 7 through 13.
14 through 20, right?
Yeah, but
It says volume 2.
oh, weird. Okay.
Astro City is something really great, I think. And Kurt Busiek is no stranger to writing comic books. Astro City. This was the first Astro City trade I read, and I think it's brilliant. It's basically about this small time hood who gets does the supervillain thing for a while. He's not very good at it.
He's not as powered as like a lot. I mean, it's a superhero book.
His name is Steel Jack. He's the steel jacketed man, and basically gets out of jail and goes to live in his old neighborhood and gets hired because all the kind of low level villains are being killed, and it's about him kind of struggling with his past and struggling to make a future for himself. And
one get straight,
Yeah,
after
and-
coming out of
Yeah,
out of
exactly.
prison, it's
And-
that kind of that great, the story that's been told, but now
Yeah.
there's superpowers involved.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing. I think it's excellently written. The art, I think, is beautiful.
Who does the art on this one? It's
It's a bunch of people. I think I know that. I can't. I'm almost positive it's like a revolving. Brent Eric. It's okay. So it's Brent Eric Anderson does it, and Will Blyberg does the inking. With covers by Alex Ross. Ooh.
and Alex Sinclair doing colors.
Yeah.
I love Alex Sinclair.
Yeah, and it's really clean, and I really like the character designs. It's one of my favorite things about Astro City.
Yeah.
But I really like the underlying message of the book, which is largely one of redemption. And I think it's got one of the greatest covers of any trade I've ever seen because it's made to look like this old beat up pulp novel.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful cover. Some of Alex Ross' best work
Is on the Astro City cover.
is
for
on.
sure.
Is on.
But
Yeah,
I love Astro City. I'm a huge fan.
oh, yeah, I think it's great. I've enjoyed everything I've read of it.
As far as like superhero stuff goes, I think that there's just so many good ideas explored in Astro City that like could not be explored in Marvel and DC universe.
Yeah,
that he gets to, which are universes he's written in both.
Yeah, I mean, he's
he's
very familiar with both of those.
And so he kind of gets to, create his own universe and sometimes draw really obvious parallels between characters in, DC and Marvel. And sometimes, like, he has a Fantastic Four story, essentially. He has, like, a Batman and Robin story, essentially, with the Confessor or whatever.
Yeah, he's got Avengers Forever.
Yeah.
Didn't he write Avengers?
Well, I meant in Astro City.
He's got
that Fantastic Four, quote-unquote Fantastic Four family. He's got the quote-unquote Batman story with the Confessor character.
Yes.
And, he kind of sometimes really obviously draws parallels between those universes to tell stories that could not have been told in the DC and Marvel universe, which is something I love about indie comics. This is... I don't remember who published this.
It's homage, isn't it?
I think this might have been published by DC originally.
Yeah. It's homage comics.
But those any indie comic company, whether it's Image or Dark Horse or Vertigo, or not Vertigo, or I don't know. Any of the indie, IDW, any of that kind of stuff that they get to break away from Marvel and DC and tell like really interesting stories with superheroes that are stuff that would never fly in the DC.
Oh yeah,
I'm a huge fan of that.
Absolutely. Well, I think it helps expand the idea.
Well, we talked about that a lot when we talked about Empire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it's that kind of story.
Yeah,
that wouldn't. Necessarily get to be told, but is a story that should be told. So I'm glad there's a home for it in indie comics and in different publishing companies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Astro City is one of those, big chunks, a big run of superhero comics that gets to explore its kind of its own little private universe.
Yeah, which is
in
great.
in a great way. I'm a big fan. Cade, what do you?
I brought J. Michael Straczynski's Midnight Nation. It is one of my favorite comics of all time. But still, it's one of those books where it does have a great story, and it's a pretty memorable story, but at the same time, a lot of what makes the book good are the details, which are easily forgettable after 2 or 3 months of read it. So I try to read it every year, but it seems to become every other year. But it's one of my favorite books. I didn't vote for Grant's Krasinski book last week because I knew I was bringing it.
You're metagaming the system. You're trying to rig the voting, Cade. Reactions are going to be taken over by, going to be looked over by the View from the Gutters review board.
Yeah, we're gonna
after
have
this
to.
episode.
We're gonna have, we might have to.
Disciplinary
We might have to
commission's
sanction
going to
you.
have to see if your voting is going to be allowed anymore. Might get kicked out of the United Nations of View from the Gutters.
But yeah, it's
The gutter
Just ignores it. He doesn't even care. He's like, fuck you guys. Let me talk about my book.
Whatevs.
It's about the story of a guy who gets stuck in between worlds, in between life and death, and has this really out there experience. It's a very mind trippy book, which I love. You can't question your own mind.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think it's
This is Top Cow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never read this one.
I haven't either.
I haven't either, but Straczynski. That's an interesting thing because most of Straczynski's stuff isn't really the mind trippy type stuff. At least not that I've read.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
it's-
his Marvel stuff is
very
like real
practical,
straight ahead superhero
yeah.
stuff.
So it would be interesting just to see kind of his take on it. All right. The book that I brought, it's called Incognito. It's by Ed Brubaker and Shaun Phillips. If you read more superhero stuff, you probably know Ed Brubaker from like Cap.
Captain America.
He's writing a lot of Captain America stuff.
Immortal Iron
He
Fist.
did Immortal Iron
He
Fist.
did. He took over from
Yeah.
Bendis for Daredevil.
Did he ever take over Iron Fist from?
Well, it was him and Matt
Fraction.
Fraction, and then he left the
Fraction,
book,
yeah.
and Fraction kept.
Yeah. So Shaun Phillips.
He did a lot of X-Men stuff
yeah.
too recently.
Yeah. The two of them together have done many things. One of my favorites is Criminal,
Right.
which is a very kind of noir style crime. And kind of a side note, if you like Criminal, there's they just came out with a hardcover edition of Scene of the Crime, which is a book that was put out by Image many years ago, and has been out of print. But it's as far as I know, the first Brubaker and Phillips crime book, and it's fantastic. So if you like criminal or if you like crime genre novels, I would highly encourage you to check that out. This though is the basic premise is there is a supervillain or a villain that basically finds out that he's being sold out by he was sold out by his crime boss. His brother was killed. Him and his brother are villains together. His name is Max Overkill. His brother's killed, so he
Best name ever.
Yeah. So he turns state's evidence basically, and gets put into witness protection. They drug him up so that he can't use his powers, and he becomes a file clerk. And he basically hates his existence and starts doing drugs and drinking, and eventually finds out that as soon as he starts taking these drugs, they inhibit the medication that has been given to him to suppress his powers. So he starts just kind of going out at night and kind of stretching his legs again, getting used to using powers again, and somewhat inadvertently becomes a superhero in the essence that he sees some lady getting beat up and he's like, oh, I guess I got to kind of take care of it. And so there starts being all these rumors that there's a new superhero in town, and inevitably the boss that he turned on that's in prison finds out about it and sends a bunch of people to kill him. There's a group of people called the SOS. That's a very SHIELD-like organization that kind of covers up all these superhero, science villain fights and things like that, and tries to keep it out of the public's eye. It's real great. It's basically like Criminal meets like a Marvel universe. It's a lot of
Men in Black.
Yeah,
it sounds
yeah.
like covering up.
Yeah.
superheroes.
So it's fun. It's got a great noir style. The art in it is, or actually, I take that back. The art is awesome, but not just that. The coloring is fantastic. It's a quick read. There's only 2 trades of it out, and they're both fantastic. It's a lot of fun. Is really what it is.
It's on my wish list.
So I would highly encourage you, if we don't pick it as a group, you guys go out, buy it, read it.
Right.
Just like every week. Colors are by Val Staples.
Val Staples, yeah. I forgot to mention that.
I just wanted to look over it. It looks familiar.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just like with anything that Shaun Phillips and Ed Brubaker does. Criminal. They did Sleeper. I'm not as big a fan of Sleeper.
Right,
It's
like
that
Sleeper.
that one's set in the Wildstorm universe, and I don't really care about that universe. I don't really care about Grifter.
Well, that's the kind of nice thing about Sleeper, though, is like you don't really have to give a shit about the Wildstorm universe for that book to work. It's kind of like the G.I. Joe Cobra of the Wildstorm universe. So, like, you don't have to care at all about G.I. Joe to read G.I. Joe Cobra.
Right.
A Fatale, something else they did together.
They've done Batman books together too.
They're
haven't
done-
they? Because they.
I don't know.
Oh, well, they
Brubaker-
did Gotham Central.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
Brubaker was on
that's
Gotham
a
Central.
great book,
Yeah,
great
which
book.
which we've
Yeah.
talked about before on a podcast, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
Good
but,
stuff.
But
Yeah.
yeah, you got to
Greg Rucka wrote some Gotham Central too.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
great
yeah,
idea, and it's
Brubaker did the
Brubaker,
night shift,
yeah.
and Rucka did the night shift, and
I don't
Brubaker did
remember.
the day shift.
One of them.
But one or the other, the first issue,
yeah.
a couple cops are tracking down a lead on a missing person. They kick in a door, and Mr.
Freeze
Freeze
is
is
there,
there,
yeah.
freezes them. It's a great,
It's
like,
a Batman book without Batman, and it's done
it's
brilliantly.
fantastic.
Police procedural. And it hits.
One of my favorite DC books
Yeah.
or series.
It was a great
like,
idea.
for sure.
It was
Yeah,
really
and
a great idea.
it's consistent too
Yeah.
throughout the whole series.
It's got some great art.
That
in
should
it,
really
too.
be a TV show.
Absolutely.
They've tried.
Yeah.
I think they've tried for sure to like get that shit locked down. But it's just like,
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna do a Batman show. Awesome, let's do it. All right, Batman's not in it. What? Like it's
Yeah.
just something
Like,
that's like
it'll never work. Yeah.
so over the head of
No,
like
clearly.
TV execs that it
Yeah.
will never get made. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just too. They don't understand that. They understand like there's a fat guy
Like, but
and
if
he
we
makes
put-
a
yeah.
fat joke and then his wife is hot and it's
But if
like
we
a
put-
funny
yeah.
sitcom.
Like if we put the bat symbol in it, it'll sell. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
they don't understand stuff like that. So I mean, I'd love to see it as a television show, like,
I think it'd be great.
but
think
I don't
it'd be
know. After Birds of Prey, I don't think they'll ever
Yeah.
try. Like,
Come on,
Yeah.
Arrow's
We don't talk
solid,
about that.
guys.
Have you seen it yet?
I don't even
I've
wanna
heard
talk
like
about
good.
it. I don't want to
it's-
talk about it. I don't wanna talk
it's-
about it.
It's there's
That's got that Hawkeye guy in it, right?
oh yeah, for sure.
Hawkeye, right?
They're just trying to
Okay.
make their own Hawkeye.
All I want to know is
It's
if
a different actor than who played him in Avengers.
yeah, in the movie, I'm confused.
But
It does Green if Green Arrow uses a boxing glove arrow in that show, I will watch it.
He won't.
it will never happen. in that
Yep.
show.
Therefore, I will never.
It'll
watch
be
it.
it'll be like either grim and gritty, or it'll be like Green Arrowville, like Smallville,
Oh.
which I had no desire to watch either.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, you should watch it. It's good. And I'm like, I'm sure it's good. I don't care.
It's alright, but it's not Green Arrow.
Yeah, that's
It's-
kind of the thing.
People forget that Green Arrow is like he's kind of a hippie, really.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
he's
Yeah.
a super hippie.
and
yeah.
and this guy is like, I mean, really, it feels like after the Avengers and stuff, they're like, wow, there's this archer that's like badass and like really, I don't know, hardcore and he's dark and brooding, and people think that's cool. We're gonna do that.
That's why, that's why they're calling it Arrow and not Green Arrow, and that's what I'm trying to impress upon people is the WB has really done, really tried, gone out of its way to distance itself from Green Arrow. He doesn't look like Green Arrow. He doesn't wear green. They don't call it Green Arrow.
It's the same kind of thing they did with Smallville, where they like guaranteed that he would never be in the Superman costume. Like that was part of the contract. Like he will never wear the Superman costume.
Why am I watching a Superman show about not Superman?
The only thing that I have kind of liked, and they didn't do it very well at the time, is they brought other DC characters in.
Yeah, I heard that was. Yeah.
They put Deathstroke in
Arrow or in
Smallville.
In Arrow.
Deathstroke
is in. It was in.
Oh yeah, I heard they were going to do that.
What about the Cape? Is he in Arrow?
He's who trains Arrow on the island.
7 seasons in a movie. 6 seasons in a movie. Fuck you guys.
Anyways, no. I'm shutting you down.
If the Cape Arrow have a crossover. And there's a boxing glove arrow on it. I'll watch that show. I keep upping it. They're like, all right, we'll do that. And I'm like, no, wait, I've got more demands.
They both have to be on pogo sticks.
New demands.
Flynn,
or an Errol Flynn Robin Hood outfit and a blonde goatee. And they give him the Arrowmobile and the Arrow Cave, then I will watch Arrow.
That's a lot of demand. That's like more extreme than my demands. I mean, they're equally ridiculous, because the next demand I had was they have to make out.
I think the funny thing is we were just talking, it's like they made a Superman show without Superman. They're making a Green Arrow show without Green Arrow. But a Batman show without Batman is like, whoa, no, never, we'll never do that. It's like, you've already done it.
The thing that's fucked up about Green Arrow and Arrow and Smallville is like, yeah, we'll do a Superman show. It's set in the Superman universe, but Superman won't be in it. Okay, who's gonna be in it? Clark Kent. Yeah, Clark Kent. Who gives a fucking shit about Clark Kent?
He's made to be the most boring character.
Has he ever punched a robot in his life? No.
Well, he has.
No. Well, yeah, as Superman.
No.
Because they're the same guy. The guy.
What?
If you've watched,
spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. If you've watched Smallville, you might not know that. But yeah, he's Superman. He punches robots.
Your only experience with Superman in Smallville, he grows up, puts on a costume, and kicks the shit out of things.
Robots.
It's much more interesting than Smallville.
Also, sorry, not to jump back to Fear Agent or anything, but robots. Robot punching and shooting. I fucking love robots. Awesome. It's what John Byrne and Superman punches robots.
Oh, he's punching robots all over the place. John Byrne is awesome. Until you get to Next Men, which is really weird and creepy.
I just like robots a lot, I think. More giant robots to be punched in comic books. There's another demand. I'll read more comics if there's robots in them.
Do it.
So now we need the puppets and robots crossover?
Yes.
Robots
actually, no. We've already seen plenty of that.
Speaking of
Star Wars.
Disney wants to buy Hasbro.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to get G.I. Joe and Transformers. So there could be puppets punching robots.
God, I would watch the shit out of
puppets punching Jedi robots dressed as Iron Man.
Muppet Star Wars versus
with lightsabers.
Transformers. That's a good point. Like, I would love to see you know how there was like Muppet Treasure Island and Muppet Christmas Carol?
Muppet Star Wars.
I'd love to see a Muppet Star Wars. I'd also love to see a Muppet Transformers. Gotta be fucking awesome. Like, come on, Optimus Prime, Kermit and I gotta go save the world from Miss Piggy and Megatron. Of course I'd watch that. Like, Starscream just fucking punches the shit out of Fozzie in his hair.
Like 27-year-old dudes' heads across the nation would just explode.
God, I would fucking jizz everywhere.
Actually, I'm kind of have a boner for the whole Muppet Star Wars thing. I think that'd be great.
Awesome. Yeah.
I think that'd be amazing.
I still am all about Muppet Transformers.
Jesus Christ. Anyway,
I don't even like Transformers.
I'm holding on to Muppet GoBots.
We're done here. We're done here.
Yeah, we're at like 6 hours already. All right, I haven't even given my pick yet.
This is the Gone with the Wind of podcast.
All right, I go last.
I'll never go hungry again.
Save you.
I'll never go hungry. We're never going to get out of this podcast. Give me your arm. Bear Grylls said I could eat it raw.
That's not a thing you can do, Bear Grylls.
It is.
You can't just pee on something and clean it.
I did. Shit. I was going to drink that.
He drinks the most.
I ate
a good buzz out.
Yeah, all I've eaten for the last 3 weeks is asparagus. So enjoy that, people.
Aspartic acid. It's not tasty.
Not
tasty.
All right, let me do my pick.
Go ahead.
Today, I picked a book from across the ocean, from Japan. I picked a manga this week. It's not against the rules. I promise, because there are no rules.
You made the rules.
I made the rules. Also, I forgot all of the rules that I made to like not being able to vote for your own book. I was like, I don't think that's a rule. Of course, it's a rule. Yeah, so I picked a manga. It's from Digital Manga Publishing Company. It's called Project X Challengers 711, and Project X Challengers was a show in 2000 and launched in Japan, and it was. I don't really know any other way to describe this other than it's a business manga. It's a manga about like the formation of a company and like how they moved 7-Eleven from America to Japan, which sounds like hella stupid, but like when it's told in the manga format of like, you know, there'll just be a panel where they're like, we'll have to work extra hard to get business done. And there's like action lines in the background, like shit like this. I'm pointing at panels for people in the audience. And there's just like that, there's like action manga lines coming out of people's heads. And they're just like, we'll use our business know-how to solve this problem. It's awesome.
There's like mind,
just like
squiggly lines.
And then they see somebody naked and they have bloody noses.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in this. No, it's like, I mean, it's essentially like a documentary in manga form of like the true story of how these 15 Japanese businessmen basically started 7-Eleven in Japan, which is a huge part of that culture now, the convenience store. It wasn't just that they brought 7-Eleven from America, but they brought the convenience store.
Right.
They were just mom and pop stores, and then there were big megalomarts and like nothing in between. And so they filled a business niche that they didn't know they were missing. It's this like it's just like a really interesting story. And there's 2 other books in this series, the Project X Challengers. As far as the television episodes, there are a lot of them. But there's only 3 that made it in the manga format. There's the 7-Eleven, and then there's the Fair Lady Z, the Datsun Fair Lady Z, the legend of the most successful sports car in the world. And the first Japanese sports car was a Datsun. Or Nissan, sorry, not Datsun. Oh, it became, I don't know. Yeah, the Datsun 24Z is the Nissan. So yeah, like that's the other one, and then the third one is cup noodles, cup noodle, like how that got invented and how they like,
which has changed lives.
Well, yeah,
I just vote for cup of noodles.
Well, I don't have that one, so I didn't pick it. But yeah, you can vote for that. Actually, that one's great because there's an amazing moment in there where they like a guy remembers freeze drying from college, and there's that like manga action panel where he's like, I remember we'll freeze dry the meat, because they're like trying to remember how to get meat into, or dehydrate the meat or something. I don't remember what it is, but they try to get meat into the cup noodle.
Right.
And but yeah, Project X 7-Eleven, I love it. It's like this great business manga and like how these people overcome adversity and like negotiate with this huge American business and you know, like get this kind of like startup franchise going, and it's really interesting in a really weird way, and everybody should read it. And I know we're not going to pick it because it's weird and people aren't into this kind of stuff, but I had to pick a business manga because I fucking love this story. I was rereading it again today and was just like, God, I forgot how much I fucking love this shit. Like, I wish there were 1,000 of these. I could read them all the time. They could be like the most inane manga story. Like, the story about how someone found a piece of paper once. And I'd be like, I'll read that. Like, you tell it in an interesting enough way.
I'll turn it into a business!
Like, I'll fucking read the shit out of that. I don't know. I love stuff like this, and I love like just business stories in general. And I wish that this show had like existed in America in some way, but you know,
kind of like the plastic bag from American Beauty, where he films the plastic bag floating around in the wind, and you're just like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's just this like what should be inane, boring bullshit of like, well, how did we figure out how to manage inventory? Becomes like a really interesting chapter in the book. Like, how do we like not have a bunch of extra backstock laying around?
You've tried to sell me on these books before, and I just didn't get it done, and I think it's something you have to read to really appreciate.
You do, and it's just like, I don't know, I just love this kind of shit. It's so interesting, and I don't know why I like it, but I totally love it.
That's all good.
And I purchased both of these at Isotope Comics in San Francisco,
Nice.
which does not sponsor our show, so I'll have to edit
Yeah, we don't fuck them.
that out. Our only sponsor, Meth, would be angry at us for promoting other things.
And you don't want to fuck with men.
Yeah, you don't
Doesn't
want Meth to
care.
fuck with you.
It's not paying attention.
That's probably true.
It's passed
I've
down on
watched
the floor.
Breaking
That's
Bad.
true.
I know what happens.
Oh yeah, you end up in a bathtub. Anyways,
Yeah.
so
Is that show about meth?
It's about
I thought it was about science teachers, like Bill
And
Nye
meth.
and...
it's about Neil deGrasse.
It's about Bill Nye making meth.
Yeah. I didn't know there was meth in
Bill,
that show.
Bill.
I thought they just liked each other a lot
They do.
and ate candy. I've been watching it on planes,
Oh, okay.
so they edit out all the not PC stuff.
So,
that
so
would be
every
great.
episode's like 3
Well,
minutes.
they're-
Yeah, they're just like,
Walter,
hey, how are
Jesse,
you doing?
some Smarties.
How are you doing? I'm doing all right. End of episode. Like, I'd watch the shit out of that too.
Astro City.
That's your vote? You can't vote for your own book.
No, who's voting for it?
We
You just want to yell out the name of your book.
Oh, okay, yeah. Who's voting for Astro City?
It's super limited.
I don't. Well, no, that's not how we do this, Joe. We go
How do
around
we
the
do it?
table and each of us picks the book that they're
Oh,
going to
right.
vote for.
I forgot.
Remember?
I forgot.
We did this like 2 weeks ago. How did you forget already?
I'm not really Joe. I'm a robot. I'm here to have sex with your puppets.
Oh, thank God.
All right,
Sex
so we're going
robot,
around the
sex
table.
robot.
So I think Incognito is what really kind
So that's one for Project X.
of.
I edited you out. They don't know.
It's just your voice over this. It's like, I think that's over Project X.
There's another. Oh, my vote this week is Project X. I think that's a really good book by. All right, Cade, what do you want to read?
I want to read Incognito.
All right.
I was gonna go with Astro City. I've yet to read Astro City, and I really want to. So this is a great opportunity.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So you have to.
Well, I've read Astro City.
Okay.
So my vote is either Incognito or Midnight Nation, because I really want to read that too. So either way, we're reading Incognito.
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 All right.
Once
Sounds
again, I
good.
got scared. I'm bringing King City again.
You know,
Actually, no. Next time we're going to be doing our.
No, we don't want to put this on the air just in case it falls through.
It's not going to fall through.
We're going to do
Like
a
we-
special episode about
We have a
superheroes.
special episode. Our Thanksgiving episode is going to be about superheroes.
Yep.
And how much we love them when they're not being fucked over by Jeff Johns.
And we do love superheroes. We shit on them a lot on the
We-
show.
we do,
like,
but-
you can tell when we talk about
It's from a place of love.
stuff that we like.
Yeah, it's
we
from
do
a
love
place of love.
superhero
So
books.
hopefully we'll each get to wax poetic about things we love about superheroes.
And then
It's gonna
after
be-
that, we'll read Project X.
and then Andrew will wake up alone, tears in his beard, thinking,
Why do they never pick my
why?
Nah, I mean, just like every week on the show, even if we didn't pick it to read, you guys should still read all these recommendations because they're books we like. And they're
That's
good.
true. Yes, read
And,
everything.
Yeah.
We know we've done the footwork for you. There's no need to doubt us. Just read what we told you.
And also, just like you really can't get enough recommendations for books, honestly. Like it's part of
You
the
really can't.
thing I love about doing this show. Is like I say this every fucking episode.
If
too,
you've
so
kept
you're tired of
track
it, but
Of all the books we've recommended, there's a code included in it that will tell you how to get to the Oak Island treasure.
just turn left.
Just turn left. Well, now they don't need to fucking decode
Ah, damn it!
the
I gave it
code.
away.
That's not
Edit it out.
Ah, shit!
Just
I don't know
edit
how
it
to do that.
out.
I don't know how to do this complicated.
I think we're
All
done.
you
at
have
this
to
point.
do is Project X.
Yeah. All right.
Project
yeah.
X.
Yeah. Project X Challenges is good. It's
Project
weird,
X
and I
Challenges.
like it.
Ask yourself, what could you bring to Japan that they'll write a manga about?
What would you love to read today? Business manga?
The
Okay.
first, I want to read a Project X about the first Ona hole. Can we do that?
No,
The first Tanga masturbation aid.
that they have that. I think.
They do have that.
No,
Do
I
they-
mean
no,
the books
do
about
they-
the first one, not
That'd
in
be
Project
great.
X, but
That'd be great.
yeah, I'm sure that's somewhere.
That's in the adult section.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Ask your local comic book store where they keep their grown-up books,
Ask your local comic book stores
where they keep the books your dad reads.
why. Yeah. Yes, you should do that. I have nothing. I've got nothing.
We're done. You ran out of stuff to say?
I got ran out of
What
stuff to
the?
say.
What?
I'm gonna start eating on it. It is
We're done.
It
We're
is
done.
the-
Fucking done. Show canceled. Cancel the fucking show. We'll never
Give me
be
your
back.
fucking arm.
We'll never be back. Fuck this shit.
If I'm not back next week, or next time, it's because they ate me. They're already
Because the
looking
show's
at me.
fucking canceled because you ran out of
I
shit to
ran
say.
out of things to say for this time. I'll have all new things to say next time.
I don't think so. I don't
I
believe
will.
you. I don't
I
believe
will.
you. I don't believe you. All right, next episode, special episode after that, Incognito.
Yes.
Ed Brubaker.
Be
Shaun
there.
Phillips.
Val Staples.
Read it.
Excellent.
And if you have time, read Astro City, Midnight Nation, and Project X.
Read
Yeah.
Project
Don't read
X.
Project X.
But
Only-
just
only
be
read
sure
Project.
that when you ask for Project X, you specify what you want, because I don't know what you would get if you
Don't get
That
Project
horrible-
XX.
And whatever you do not type it into Google with the safe search off, all right? Because it'll probably be bad.
Yeah, Project XXX
Project X,
is
Triple X,
my next.
is the
next
story of the
episode's
first
pick.
Japanese porno, which nobody knows what is going on
With
because they blur
robots
it
and
all.
Muppets and Star Wars and Avengers.
There's an octopus in there somewhere.
What is? That is.
That's great. All right,
All right.
next time.
Signing off.
Bye.
Bye.